All right, so I decided to do my project on the restoration of Lake St. Clair. The lake has had fluctuating levels of fish and biodiversity in the surrounding areas, and large programs have been put into place to prevent further degradation of the area. Lake St. Clair has always held a special place in my heart, not only because it's a vital resource for our region, but because some of the most cherished memories are tied to the lake. Growing up, a good number of my weekends were spent fishing on Lake St. Clair with my grandpa and dad. One of the most vivid memories was the day I caught my first muskie, a 40-inch fish that to this day fought harder than anything I'd ever experienced. It was a moment of pure excitement and pride that I'll never forget. Unfortunately, I was not able to find the actual picture, but I swear I caught one, I promise. But beyond those personal memories, Lake St. Clair is an incredibly important resource for millions of people across both the US and Canada. The lake supports over 70 species of fish, 90 species of birds, and 38 species of amphibians and reptiles. It's also a massive hub for recreational activities like fishing, boating, and swimming, which draw in both locals and tourists from all over. Economically, the lake plays a significant role in supporting local businesses from bait shops to charter boat companies. However, the lake isn't without its challenges. Over the years, Lake St. Clair has faced increasing environmental pressures, including rising water levels, pollution, and the spread of invasive species. These issues threaten not only the biodiversity of the lake, but also its ability to provide recreational economic opportunities. In response to these challenges, the Lake St. Clair Watershed Implementation Priorities Plan, or WIPP, was developed to guide restoration efforts aimed at protecting this precious resource. The WIPP has made a real difference. Since its creation, projects have restored 34 miles of fish habitats and over 500 acres of wetlands. These efforts have helped mitigate flooding, reduce pollutant runoff, and provide a safer and more accessible environment for both wildlife and people. The benefits are clear not only in terms of the environment, but also in the experiences of people like me and my family who continue to enjoy fishing on the lake every once in a while. Granted, we don't get out as much as we used to, but we still get out there every few years. So one of the key indicators of Lake St. Clair's health is its fish populations. Let's take a closer look at two important species, walleye and the yellow perch. As the chart shows, walleye populations have remained relatively stable over the years, with recent harvest rates hovering around 0.48 fish per hour in 2023. This is well above the long-term average of 0.25 fish per hour, suggesting that walleye are thriving in the lake. On the other hand, yellow perch populations have seen a more concerning decline. Harvest rates for yellow perch have been dropping steadily since the mid-2000s, and while they briefly spiked around 2017, they remain lower than historical averages. This highlights the ongoing challenges the lake faces, even as some species like walleye remain resilient. Another species that has benefited from conservation efforts is the smallmouth bass. Lake St. Clair has become one of the premier destinations in the state for catching trophy-sized smallmouth bass. In fact, the lake accounted for 33% of all statewide Master Angler Awards for smallmouth bass in 2023. Anglers have caught and released thousands of these fish, and the population remains healthy thanks to monitoring and habitat restoration efforts. The continued focus on sustainable fishing practices, including catch and release, is critical to ensuring that smallmouth bass thrive in the lake for years to come. And finally, let's look at the muskie population. While total entries for muskie in the Master Angler program have decreased since the early 2000s, Lake St. Clair remains a dominant location for catching these large fish. In 2023, 47% of all Master Angler entries for muskie in Michigan came from Lake St. Clair. It's clear that conservation efforts are helping maintain a stable muskie population, ensuring that future generations can experience the excitement of reeling in one of these fish, just as I did with my grandpa and my dad. To conclude, Lake St. Clair is not just a body of water, it's a living ecosystem that provides immense value to both humans and wildlife in the surrounding area. The restoration efforts led by the WIPP have made significant strides in protecting the lake's biodiversity and ensuring its sustainability. While challenges like pollution and invasive species remain, the progress we've made offers hope for the future. With continued investment and community involvement, Lake St. Clair can remain a treasure for generations to come, both as a vital ecological resource and as a place where memories like mine were made. And for the reflection questions, the most difficult part of completing this project was interpreting the data set and effectively telling the story of the trends in fish populations while keeping the narrative engaging and data driven. I guess compared to the first projects, Going along with the interpretation is also the portrayal of the data. It's like you can understand it, but if you're not getting your points across, people aren't really going to understand what you're talking about. So it's the transition from interpretation to the portrayal of it, which I thought was a big challenge of just making sure that all the information was there. All right, that is my presentation. Thank you.